Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This is Joel Perez here for your weekly episodic news show. This is Behind the Mic, and it is a little Behind the Mic mini for episode number 67 here today, because unfortunately this weekend I did not have the time to give you a full edition of Behind the Mic. Also having trouble for some reason finding news stories that I really want to talk about and I really want to report. So this is going to be a shorter episode of Behind the Mic, about half the time. Usually Behind the Mics run like 60 minutes. This is going to be like a 30-minute video, and we're going to be talking 2 or 3 things in this video. 2 news stories and just one thing here. Of course, like you saw at the beginning of the video, we're paying tribute to Vader. Vader, of course, heralded as one of the best big men in the entire industry, and this past week he did pass away. We lost a legend in many people's eyes in the wrestling industry, and I did not watch Vader's career that much in detail, and I didn't follow him as much as I did somebody else at the time, Shawn Michaels, a Mankind, an Undertaker, because yeah, he's in that league of you're that great, and he was that great, but I really didn't follow him that much, and now that's something I really regret, because you think back and you look at it, and this guy, while he was alive, while he was doing his thing, he was doing it good. I mean, how many big men, and everybody's saying this, everybody who I've heard talk about this has said this statement, but it's damn true. How many big men do you see of his size, 300 plus, 400 plus pounds, I think? How many big men of that size do you see doing a moonsault? Not many. Not many at all. That's the answer to that one, and he was doing exactly that. His WWE run didn't pan out and be one of the best things that you ever seen at all, and that's an early example of WWE and Vince McMahon taking something that is not his creation and putting it to the wayside, which is something very, very unfortunate, because you really do want to go back and say that Vader was great in every single capacity, because when he went to Japan, he tore it up, and when he went to WCW, he tore it up. But you come to the WWF, and he was mishandled quite a bit. But Vader, I mean, I did follow his path and his journey over these past couple years now, and his sickness, that's been something that's been very, very prevalent, and I thought he was going to beat it. I really, really did, because you go on his Twitter and he's talking about how he has 2 years to live, and doctors told him he won't live 2 more years. That's a terrible thing to hear. Nobody wants to hear that news ever, and that's exactly what this guy was dealing with. It wasn't an easy last couple years for Vader, but I did hear that he had recently gotten surgery, and I mean, it looked like things were going to turn up, and it was going to be on the up and up, and he was even still wrestling matches at his age, which is so crazy, but he was still wrestling matches. I forget when his last match was, but he had like a match like a month ago or a month and a half ago, which is crazy. An absolutely crazy thing right there. And it's just absolutely amazing to see that he was able to last this long and still be going this long, still doing what he loved to do. That's something you got to respect. And I mean, one of my most fond memories of the guy, yeah, Boy Meets World. Out of all things, it's not even in a wrestling ring. When I'm doing a wrestling related channel, it has nothing to do with the wrestling ring. Boy Meets World, a comedy television show. Yep, I remember watching Boy Meets World and Vader showing up and scaring the crap out of Corey Matthews. But I mean, there you go. There you go. Vader shows up on Boy Meets World. Absolutely hysterical stuff. I, of course, marked knowing where this guy came from. I absolutely loved it. But there you go. Vader is gone, and he definitely gave us some great memories. And it's definitely a bummer. And I looked at this news and I was like, shit, that really, really sucks, man. But I mean, what are you going to do? Time flies, and we're all going to go one day. we're all gonna go. It's just unfortunate that Vader had to go and he had to suffer on his way out. He had to deal with the fact that I could die tomorrow. And when things were looking on the up and up, when it looked like things were about to get better, he got the surgery, it looks like he beat it, something else took him down. I believe it was like pneumonia or something that took him down, which sucks. It always goes down like that. Like you beat the main disease, whatever it was, and something else, since your immune system is weak, it comes in and snatches you up. And that's ultimately what kills you, which sucks so bad because this guy, there's no doubt about it, was definitely a legend. And I wish well to his family members who are probably not handling the news well that they have lost the Mastodon here tonight. So that's the issue right there. Vader is gone, but all I can say is well wishes to his family, and rest in peace, big man. Because for now, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a show to go on here with on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. This is Joel Perez, and Behind the Mic has not been the most consistent show at all. Got to be honest with you, motivation, especially in a time like this for the WWE product, it's not good. And especially as a YouTube channel, it is not easy at this time at all to be growing on YouTube. They pretty much there's no room for growth on YouTube at this point in time, and that's why I need you guys to come out and help all you can on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Make sure to support, because I definitely need that to grow on YouTube, to become better at everything that I do on here, to grow. I need that motivation, and you guys could be that motivation. I think so. Just join me on the ride here, and the easiest way to do that is to click that subscribe button. Of course, you get everything regarding the WWE each and every single week. We did provide some news, because that's what Behind the Mic is, a news show. We did provide a breaking news video earlier this week, Tuesday, before Smackdown Live went on the air. Big Cass was, of course, released from the WWE earlier this week, and I released a breaking news video giving you my in-depth thoughts about that. And Big Cass, it's come out since that he was doing some crazy shit backstage that I would not condone you do. If you want a guide of what not to do when you are a WWE superstar, if you do make it to that stage, that's it. Holy shit, Big Cass was fucking up left and right. There's no doubt about that one, but I did give you my initial thoughts, and I was partially correct in assuming what took Big Cass down, and it was that backstage heat. It was the mistake after the mistake after the mistake, and Big Cass would not stop. But speaking of content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, as usual, Monday Night Raw and Smackdown live reviews are also live on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel right now, so make sure to go check those out. And of course, support those videos as much as you can. Like this video, comment, do all you can. Make sure this video ranks, because it definitely helps me out, and I'm sure me giving you better content and better coverage of the WWE helps you out as well. Because of course, for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Behind the Mic. We've got some news stories to report, and there's some pretty substantial news stories. A WWE superstar has gone down with injury, out until 2019. Oh, that sucks. And the Undertaker, the illustrious Undertaker, is returning to in-ring competition at Summerslam. At least that's what's in the news. We're going to talk about that right here on Behind the Mic, episode number 67. Behind the Mic Mini is what I'll be calling this, because for now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be what takes us straight into the news. And we're starting off here with the big news story on The Undertaker. And it seems to be that the dead man just does not want to be exactly that, dead. Every single year where it seems like The Undertaker is finally going to call it quits, when it seems like he's reached his limit, he continues to come back and come back and come back. And the one thing that you cannot deny is that WWE has been using The Undertaker this year much more than they have in previous years. You look at it already, and he's competed at WrestleMania 34 on the Greatest Royal Rumble. He's confirmed for the Heat Wave Tour MSG live show going on in New York just in a month, in July. He's now being rumored for SummerSlam, already been confirmed for the big Australia Super Show that WWE is doing in October. I wouldn't be surprised if they use him at Survivor Series as well. So The Undertaker, despite the match quality, whatever you want to say about how the match quality has been done, The Undertaker continues to come back, and he continues to come back. And, I mean, it puts butts in tickets. It puts asses in seats, bro. I don't know what butts in tickets is supposed to mean, but either way, it puts asses in seats. That's the point right there. But The Undertaker, he seems to be rumored for SummerSlam, and you can argue MSG house show has nothing to do with television. Of the Australia tour, he's against Triple H. That probably has nothing to do with television. I doubt WWE is going to market and put on television on Raw each and every single week a Triple H versus Undertaker feud. But going into SummerSlam, this is big because this, is going to be promoted, and it's going to feature a feud for The Undertaker. Now, there's a lot of names for who this could be. There is a lot of names for who this could be, and we're going to speculate all that good stuff. But before we do, let me read you the article, and of course I'll give you my opinion on that. Either way, The Undertaker is one of the greatest legends to ever set foot inside of a wrestling ring, whether it be in WWE or any other promotion. At this stage of his career, which many people thought was over, he's pretty much has the right to make any calls and requests he wants. With that being said, he's not done wrestling just yet and will be back for more this year. But his rumored match at SummerSlam is one he supposedly wanted for some time. It's obvious by now that his loss to Roman Reigns at last year's WrestleMania 33 was not his final match. Since that time, he has had 2 matches and is scheduled for a third when WWE returns to Madison Square Garden for a Monday Night Raw event. As recently reported by Inquisitor, The Undertaker will be teaming with Reigns and Braun Strowman to match against Kevin Owens, Elias, and Baron Corbin. Later in the year, WWE will have a Super Showdown show in Australia where Taker will face off against Triple H for the very last time. Summer is in full swing, and WWE is prepping for one of their bigger events of the year in SummerSlam, which takes place in August. According to Cage Side Seats, there are now reports going around that The Undertaker will be on the card and in a match he has been wanting. For now, it is not known who The Undertaker will be facing at SummerSlam, and nothing is set in stone, but this is a rather interesting development. The main source of the rumor is a rather reliable Twitter account known as WrestleVotes, which has been right on a number of occasions in the past. Here's what WrestleVotes had to tweet. Texting with the source, The Undertaker has been presented with a story and match for SummerSlam. Source said him working in MSG next month along with Australia in October should be a good sign for SummerSlam. I can add, the idea is something Taker was pushing for at one point. If The Undertaker has been presented with a story and a match, that would mean that he's going to not only wrestle at SummerSlam, but also be back on WWE television, which I was talking about. A story would mean that a feud would need to be built up leading to the pay-per-view where the match will happen. The interesting part of this whole rumor is that this is a match that The Undertaker was pushing to have happen at some point, and that could be anything. Could be a veteran he has never worked with or one he hasn't worked with for a long time. Could be one of the up-and-coming stars who he feels is doing a great job. Either way, The Undertaker wants a specific match at SummerSlam. It is almost a guarantee that WWE will let him have that match. Now, whoever the hell The Undertaker wants to work with, that is beyond me by all intents and purposes. But if I have to take a guess at who this person is, I would probably willing to bet that it is an up-and-coming star. If you remember WrestleMania 33, Undertaker, the rumors were Undertaker wanted to work and put over an up-and-coming star. And that, of course, ended up being Roman Reigns when all was said and done. Now, whether you agree with it being Roman Reigns or not, it shouldn't have been. But if you agree or not that it should have been Roman Reigns, that is a completely different argument. But The Undertaker is going to want to work with a younger star. If you ask me, he is going to want to put somebody over. Now, that opens the opportunity for multiple scenarios to take place. Now, there is also the scenario where John Cena is the opponent against The Undertaker. Clearly, they faced off at WrestleMania 34. Maybe John Cena, who has not been seen, who's been taking a hiatus from WWE television, will want to return to television to get his vengeance against The Undertaker. He was embarrassed. He wants to avenge that loss. He will summon The Undertaker once again, and maybe that will be the law of the land there going into SummerSlam. Maybe that's why who The Undertaker wants, John Cena. Because, well, John Cena did The Undertaker some mighty favors at WrestleMania 34. If you look back at it, John Cena was beaten in 3 minutes. That scenario was handled very well, and WWE did exactly what they needed to do there because that matchup never confirmed on the show. They said, you're getting Undertaker versus John Cena. Maybe. They hinted at it. They rumored at it. John Cena built towards it. There's no doubt about that. But it was never confirmed. So that laid the way for a 3-minute match. And that's exactly what you saw. It fits into exactly what The Undertaker is doing. Since The Undertaker, you look at him, and this ain't The Undertaker we seen at WrestleMania 25. Damn, do I wish it was. Do I wish it was The Undertaker that we seen at WrestleMania 25 against Shawn Michaels. Holy shit, I would be clamoring to see The Undertaker at SummerSlam. Right now, I'm kind of laid back. I'm saying, all right, The Undertaker at SummerSlam, that can lead to some interesting scenarios if WWE books their television right. Now, John Cena versus The Undertaker, if we're discussing that, yeah, that's an interesting scenario, and that can lead to some interesting television. The feud, or the build-up, I should say, going into WrestleMania 34, that was definitely some interesting stuff. There's no doubt about that one, but I think that there paves the way for a lot more interesting scenarios if you explore the idea that Undertaker wants to work with and maybe even put over some fresher, newer stars. And even if you look back, now that I'm thinking about it, to the greatest Royal Rumble, who the hell was The Undertaker working with there? Rusev. That's another new, fresh blood star. So why wouldn't he want to work with a new, fresh blood star at SummerSlam? And there's an array of possibilities. There's no doubt about that one. You got Braun Strowman being the big, clear, just jump at your face option here. The Undertaker, Braun Strowman, both two big men. Pass the torch moment at SummerSlam. It makes sense. It provides a big headline for SummerSlam. But you think about it and what we're going to see in ring there, it ain't going to be the most technical thing ever. And even if you look at it and whether or not Undertaker got his hip surgery or not, do you really want to see beaten, battered veteran in The Undertaker going against Braun Strowman, who is green in and of himself? He's not the most polished person in the ring to begin with. And on top of that, you look at it up and down, and you can really say safely that you ain't going to be working the safest matchup against Braun Strowman. You want that matchup to be physical if it's going to be The Undertaker and Braun Strowman. And can that matchup really deliver that aspect? I'm not sure about that. So Braun Strowman and The Undertaker sounds interesting, provides a big headline, but that would not be my first option looking at it up and down. And you got a nice roster on WWE television. Now, there's some dream matches that present themselves. You got AJ Styles, which is something that I would be clamoring for. Again, were this The Undertaker 10 years ago, holy shit, that looks like a great matchup in any goddamn arena, in any goddamn venue, whether it's a Monday Night Raw, whether it's a house show, whether it's a WrestleMania, SummerSlam. It looks like a big, big match, that one, and you can go with that, but doesn't really fit into what AJ Styles is doing, WWE Champion. You also got dream matches against Seth Rollins, this guy, the next guy. There's dream matches left and right for The Undertaker, but you gotta look at something that makes sense. You want Undertaker to put somebody over. Think about somebody who fits that demon-esque character that the Undertaker plays. Now, Demon King? Finn Balor. That sounds like an interesting idea to me. You look at Finn Balor's positioning on WWE television right now, and you completely forgot about the Demon. Finn Balor looks like an absolute joke. He ain't nowhere near the prime time where he should be on Monday Night Raw. And I think, and this isn't where I'm getting this idea from, it's not from my brain, I wish it was, but JD from NY206 suggested this idea on his podcast, and that sounds like an absolutely great idea. Finn Balor, that sounds like a great idea. Demon King, Finn Balor needs to get back in strong positioning on WWE television. What better way to do it than against The Undertaker, getting a victory over The Undertaker nonetheless. The Demon King character is something that we have not seen since TLC. To think by the time we get to SummerSlam, it's only almost going to be a year before we see the Demon King character, which is not a good situation whatsoever. So you got to get that Demon King character back on the main spotlight, and the best way to do that is to have him go against The Undertaker. If Undertaker's wrestling, why not use this opportunity to put Finn Balor in the limelight, especially considering the fact that the Universal Championship, most likely coming out of SummerSlam, is going to be off of the hands of Brock Lesnar. And the very reason that Finn Balor has not gotten his so oftenly mentioned but never executed upon Universal Championship rematch from when he was, of course, injured, well, there you go. The Universal Championship is finally going to be back on WWE television. There's not going to be that imposing Brock Lesnar threat of whether or not Finn Balor is actually believable against Brock Lesnar, whether the Universal Champion is Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, I hope. Either way, whoever it may be, you have Finn Balor. They get a win over The Undertaker. That puts him in prime position, and it definitely provides interesting television, and it puts Finn Balor in prime position for the Universal Championship. I don't understand why you would not go with that. It makes the most sense to me. And on top of that, you got some interesting options down in NXT. Finn Balor is the main option. I like that idea the best. But what I would do, or if you want to do something like Undertaker doesn't have to be on television, and Undertaker doesn't have to build, and you just want somebody to challenge The Undertaker for a big match at SummerSlam, which is something I can totally see WWE doing since they're lazy and they don't like writing television, you can have somebody from NXT challenge The Undertaker. Velveteen Dream is something that I would love to see. If by SummerSlam he's coming up to the main roster, Velveteen Dream versus The Undertaker, you cannot find two more polar opposite characters. Velveteen Dream at the beginning of his career, which is looking to be monumental. Undertaker at the tail end. Two just out of the blue characters that who the hell would think of that shit? Who would think of an Undertaker? Who would think of a Velveteen Dream? Well, here they are in one vicinity in the WWE. Velveteen Dream versus The Undertaker. That sounds like an awesome matchup, and it can be built off of the moments that you see between these two weird characters. It doesn't even need to focus in ring, but if you do want a great in-ring matchup, that I think we can see Aleister Black, your current NXT champion. The rumor is he's going to be losing that NXT championship to Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So look at that one. What if Aleister Black, what a weekend that would be for the Blackster if he was coming up and he was gifted a matchup against The Undertaker. That'd be a great debut for Aleister Black. That would throw him right into the fold. Why wouldn't you go with that one? It all sounds great. These are all interesting options. There's no doubt about that one. It's just up to WWE to execute. If this rumor is true about The Undertaker appearing at SummerSlam, whether he is able to go in the ring or not, you definitely have opponents lined up for the dead man. So that is the latest on The Undertaker, and that is the latest news on SummerSlam. Do I think it's necessary for Taker to be at the show? No. SummerSlam sells itself, especially in a wrestling city like New York, in the Barclays Center. big 4 pay-per-view, there's no need for The Undertaker to be there. But if WWE wants to give us that treat, Undertaker's one of my favorite of all time, I ain't gonna complain. And again, he puts the asses in the seats. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next news story right here on Behind the Mic Mini. Boy, did I ramble on for that last one. But either way, this is probably going to end up going 35 minutes. Look at that. I'm treating you guys. That's just the type of content you're going to be getting each and every single week right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Cheap plug, I know. But we've got news on the underdog from the underground, Sami Zayn, and it is not good. It is not good. I do not like this news whatsoever. This news puts a tear in my eye because Sami Zayn undergoes surgery for multiple injuries and he is likely out of action until next year. Oh no, that one stings. Either way, Sami Zayn has been dealing with multiple injuries for the last couple of months and he's been fighting his way through them while continuing to work in the ring. Now both Zayn and WWE have realized that it was time for him to get checked out by medical professionals before things got any worse. After heading down to Birmingham, Alabama to get examined by Dr. James Andrews, the news wasn't very good and the Monday Night Raw superstar is going to miss a lot of time. As reported by the Inquisitor earlier this week, Sami Zayn has been dealing with injuries to his knees and shoulders, but the exact severity of those problems hadn't been known. Obviously, he was in decent enough shape to keep wrestling, and he had chosen not to take the time off yet to heal. Many fans noticed, though, that his recent feud with Bobby Lashley had lacked a lot of physical interaction during the build-up to their match. When they finally faced off at Money in the Bank, the match was kept short, and it was rather one-sided, with Zayn not doing much throughout. On Thursday, the official website of WWE revealed that the news is actually much worse than anyone thought. Sami Zayn said he is in a lot of pain with injuries to both of his rotator cuffs, with surgery for the first repair taking place on Thursday. Now it's been confirmed that he likely won't be back until early 2019. Sami Zayn took the time to speak with WWE for the fans, and he let the world know exactly what is going on with him. WWE called it a surprise to everyone, but Zayn knows the severity of the situation and what he's going through. This is what Sami Zayn had to say. Well, right now I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I just underwent surgery for my right shoulder, aka my good shoulder, so I'm out for a little while with that. I guess people don't know about this injury. I've been working with it for some time. I don't know exactly when I tore it. I think I tore it or initially injured it on a Montreal live event, which is ironic because I injured my left shoulder now somewhat famously in Montreal in my Raw debut against John Cena. And at a live event this past August, Wrestling Jinder Mahal, I think I injured it then. Interestingly enough, the shoulder that Dr. James Andrews operated on isn't even the worst of the two for Zayn. It will be a couple months, but Zayn is due for surgery on his left shoulder as well. But then my left shoulder, this is what Zayn had to say about that one, aka my bad shoulder, started to act up again as well. That shoulder hasn't quite been the same since surgery anyway, so I just had gotten used to the fact that shoulder was the bad one, but it started to get progressively worse. So basically, long story short, it turns out I have two torn rotator cuffs. Crazy. The left one and the right one are both torn. I just underwent surgery on the right one, and then in about 6 or 7 weeks, I'll be undergoing surgery on the left one. And hopefully I can come back healthy and happy. I definitely hope so. Either way, surgery went well on Thursday, and doctors actually said that it went great, according to Zayn. The pain he's currently in is a considerable amount, but it will subside in a few days from here. The hardest part is going to be the slow nature of the healing process, and after that, rehabilitation. Sami Zayn wasn't deeply involved in any kind of huge feud before taking the time to be examined by medical professionals. It's a good thing he went, though, as any further contact may have done serious damage and worsened his lingering injuries. For now, he is having multiple surgeries and taking the time to heal and rehab with the hope that he'll be able to return for the time of WrestleMania 35 in 2019. That is crazy, bro. That is absolutely crazy how Sami Zayn was wrestling with this injury for so long. And, I mean, the risk that was there for things to go so much worse, thank God that wasn't the case, but 2 torn rotator cuffs, and he was just wrestling with this. The amount of pain these wrestlers go through and they just deal with is just apprehensible. I mean, that's crazy. That is so crazy, and good on Sami Zayn for sticking it out like a champ. You just go day by day, and he unfortunately it caught up to him, and he had to get this surgery. But I mean, there couldn't have been, if you want to look at the silver lining here, couldn't have been any better time to take Sami Zayn out of the action. He just got out of feud with Bobby Lashley. That's easily going to go down as the worst feud of the year, bar none. Provided one of the worst segments of the year completely with the Sami Zayn or the Bobby Lashley sisters. Not to mention the week before with Bobby Lashley giving Renee Young that terrible interview. Holy shit, that was garbage. But either way, this feud was complete and utter garbage. There's no doubt about that. And Sami Zayn, if you want to look at the silver lining here, getting him taken out of action when he comes back in 2019, that feud is going to be long forgotten, and Sami Zayn is going to be a fresh man. You kind of notice it. Sami Zayn is so fantastic in the ring, and I'm like, when was the last time Sami Zayn really had a great matchup? Well, now you know why he really hasn't been performing at the level of Sami Zayn. I just explained it in my head as, well, he's a heel. He's not going to be doing the high-flying spots, but it seems to be that these injuries were definitely pacing him down. And he tore one in a live event in August? Are you kidding? August of 2017? That means he's been working with this for nearly a year. So, wow. And he's going to be out until 2019. That sucks. That sucks. I'm definitely a huge fan of Sami Zayn. And now he's going to be out. Wow, that is terrible news. He could have definitely been doing big things going forward in WWE, but now he is out of action, and that really is not good news. But hopefully Sami Zayn comes back better than ever, rejuvenated, ready to work, and ready to do big things, because he was definitely on a downward spiral after this feud with Bobby Lashley, and this is going to give time for people to forgive and forget, and he's going to get better, and he's going to come back better than ever. And hopefully there's going to be some big things in store for Sami Zayn. But I mean, this is, I just can't stress enough how much this sucks that Sami Zayn is going to be out for so long. I mean, this could have really been a breakout year for Sami Zayn. They pulled him apart from Kevin Owens, and coming out of this feud, you were really going to see what Sami Zayn is able to do as a heel. Granted be that he was positioned in a feud with somebody who was a great babyface. What if they put him in there in a feud with Finn Balor? That could have led to some great stuff. He could have been a great mid-carder. Maybe we could have seen Sami Zayn capture his first gold on the main roster. The Intercontinental Championship is very much up for grabs on Monday Night Raw. Maybe Sami Zayn could have grabbed clutches of that Intercontinental Championship come later down the year, but none of that in the books now, because Sami Zayn has gone down with injury, and quite a devastating one as well, out until early 2019. And I mean, just not good news for the underdog from the underground, the heart and soul of NXT. Now, that's actually something that I'm thinking. Hopefully Sami Zayn returns as a babyface. Sami Zayn is a fantastic babyface, and hopefully he gets his time to shine in that capacity. Hopefully, by the time he does return, WWE realizes his worth, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Sami Zayn, but he is out until 2019. Damn, bro. That seems so far away. But that is the situation right there. Sami Zayn has been injured. But for now, that is all I have for you on Behind the Mic episode number 37, Behind the Mic Mini. For now, we move on here to the closing segments of Behind the Mic. For now, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all right here on Behind the Mic, episode number 67. I hope you enjoyed this little mini edition of Behind the Mic, a little bit more digestible than Behind the Mic. It really is only like 2 or 3 news stories, and we still went a good 35 minutes. Just goes to show you, I can talk forever about this crap, but either way, I hope you enjoyed each and every single thing that you heard here, because for now that is going to be all. But before we do go out, I just want to tell you guys to make sure to support. I can't stress it enough. It is so hard to grow now on YouTube, so if this is your first time checking this content out, make sure to subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel. It definitely motivates me to do better and grow and just rise up from the ashes that is this big playden that is YouTube nowadays, and especially at a time where the WWE product is in a dimmer note going into a pay-per-view like Extreme Rules. I can definitely use the support, and I can definitely use the motivation, because for now, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be all on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. This is going to be all for Behind the Mic Mini, episode number 67. For now, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. Check out all the other content, Raw and Smackdown reviews. Links to the social media is down in the comment section below. Of course, Instagram and Twitter, both. Make sure to go check both of those out, because for now, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment, and for now, I am out of here. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will see you all next time right here on Ringside Wrestling.